Election season is in full swing right now in New Jersey, and the candidates, well, they're out trying to convince you to give them your vote. Knowing their platform, of course, that's very important. But equally as important is knowing the person behind the candidate. Hi, I'm Racquel Williams, and Beasley Media New Jersey is proud to present to you Coffee with the Candidates. We put politics aside, for the most part, peel back the layers, and get to know the person behind the candidate. Oh, and of course, it all happens over a cup of coffee. So pour yourself one and enjoy. Hello, and welcome to Coffee with a Candidate. I'm Racquel Williams. We are here with Jack Citarelli. Jack Citarelli served in the State Assembly from 2011 to 2018, representing the 16th District. He finished second in the primary for governor of New Jersey in 2017, and he is now the Republican nominee for governor. He's going to be facing Governor Murphy in the general election in November. Welcome, Jack Citarelli.
Racquel, it's great to be with you, and congratulations. When you said Ciattarelli, you nailed it.
Well, thank you. I've been practicing. All right. So, of course, it is Coffee with a Candidate, so we are drinking coffee.
We are.
How do you take your coffee?
Well, usually with a little cream and sugar, but
Okay.
black is fine, and today I've got it black.
Did I not offer you cream and sugar?
It's quite okay. You
Oh,
had
my
other things on your
goodness.
mind.
Oh, my goodness.
Other things on your
straighten
mind.
I'll get you straight right after this. How about that? Do you have a favorite coffee shop that you like to frequent?
There is a Starbucks in downtown Somerville, and I'm not one that can differentiate one coffee from another, but the great thing about downtown Somerville is everybody's there. So it's great to run into
Everybody's
folks.
there. All right,
Everyday New Jerseyans.
I love downtowns. I
Love
do.
downtowns?
I really do. So you're born and raised, educated too, in Central Jersey, specifically born in Somerville and raised in Raritan, and a graduate of Seton Hall as well. So you could have taken your political career anywhere. Why did you choose to stay in New Jersey?
New Jersey's been home to the Ciattarellis for 100 years, and as you mentioned there, I didn't even leave to go to college. So my grandparents immigrated to a little Italian enclave in Somerset County, Raritan Borough, and I spent the first half of my life there. We've been the last 23 plus years in Hillsborough, New Jersey, but New Jersey's always been home. I love it, and I'm all about fixing it. That's what this governor's race is all about.
Okay, good. We'll definitely get into that. But tell me about the old neighborhood in Raritan. What was it like?
Magnificent place to grow up. Of course, that was before the days of cable TV and iPhones and cell phones. So children were outside on the street every single day. We all played ball together. Everybody knew each other. It was a wonderful upbringing. My parents were true middle-class New Jerseyans. My dad was in the street department for public service gas for 38 years. My mom worked on the line midnights for J&J. And nothing they wouldn't do for their neighbor, their community, their state, or their country. Never asked for anything in return. And elbow off the table. And none of us ever got the last word with mom.
That's how it should be.
That's how it should be. Some things should never change.
That's right.
Raquel.
That's right. I agree with you. And you talking about your childhood. Were you one of the kids, you and your friends playing outside until the lights came on, and you don't come back until those lights come on?
You don't.
The kids today don't do that.
No, and it was a small town, only 2 square miles, about 5,000 people, and St. Bernard's Church on the main street had a bell tower, and when the bell rang, it was 4:45. And everyone would hear that bell. And if mom and dad said you got to be home by 5, I mean, we didn't have phones with us those days or wristwatches.
Exactly.
When you heard that bell, you knew you had 15 minutes to get home because you could not be late for dinner.
You better not.
You better not.
All right. So tell me about your parents and what it was like for a kid whose parents owned a bar in the neighborhood.
They worked so hard, Raquel. As I said, mom worked midnights, and so she ran the restaurant bar by day. Dad worked by day. He ran the restaurant bar by night. It was a small Italian place, about 15 bar stools, and sat about 60 people at tables. They really had a great product. People enjoyed the place immensely. They worked extremely hard and did very, very well while they owned it, and then did even better when they sold the place. They owned the building, the liquor license, and of course the business. But it was wonderful as a young boy to go there on Saturday and Sunday mornings and help clean up after Friday and Saturday nights, which were extremely busy.
Wow. Well, that builds character, doesn't it?
Just seeing how hard they worked is what really helped build my character. They were people of integrity, never complained. They were never resentful. They were never jealous. And, I'm also very, very lucky. My older sister, my 2 brothers, whenever my parents saw successful people, they would point them out to us and say, there are people you want to be like. That's somebody you want to be like. That's somebody who you want to aspire to be. Of course, I only aspired to be like my parents. Hardworking, decent, honest. No one ever had a bad word to say about my parents.
That's honorable. Family's pretty important to you, isn't it?
It is very important. I think one of the challenges we face in society today is the breakdown of the most important nucleus, family. And my parents were always there for me when I needed them. Dad passed early. Mom will be 90 in a few months. But my wife and I have always taught our 4 kids, listen, it's great to have friends. But know this, take care of family first. We got to be there for each other.
Absolutely. Now, speaking of bars and also looking for the perfect segue, I have to admit, Jack, I understand that there is a bar or an establishment on LBI that named a cocktail after you. Is that true?
Well, that's the goal. We started a trend 23 years ago with summer times at gin and tonic with a splash of cranberry. We call that an LBI.
Okay.
So whenever we go into a bar, we ask for an LBI, and we want other people to hear that. And when the bartender looks at us, eyebrows raised, we say gin and tonic, splash of cranberry. So we're trying to set a trend here along the Jersey Shore. An LBI is a gin and tonic with a splash of cranberry. And if you really want to get creative, as we do in the Ciattarelli house in the summer, we put a frozen cherry in the bottom. And by the time you're done with the drink, the cherry has soaked up the excess gin. Put that in your mouth. It's heaven.
You know what? I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. Sounds delicious. Okay. Now, you are married, right?
27 years.
27 years. What's the magic there? What's the secret to 27 years of marriage?
Well, Racquel, marry up. I married up. I mean, come on. Melinda's a fine woman. My best friend in life, been a wonderful mother to our 4 children, who are now 26, 24, just turned 23 and 21. And as you know, it sounds like you're a mom too.
I am.
The years go by.
Very fast.
But you know what? What I find is that with each passing year, it only gets better and better and better. And our relationships are obviously different now. They're all adults.
Okay.
And it's fun having adult arguments, conversations, and powwows. But
Right.
I'm blessed, Racquel. I really am.
What would you say is the biggest lesson that parenthood has taught you?
To listen. And what I've also learned is, listen, as parents, we want the best for our kids, and there's times when we're mad and we raise our voice.
Yeah.
And what I've learned about raising your voice, about 10 seconds in, nobody's listening. Nobody's
That's
listening.
true.
I do think it's important as parents to let kids know that every once in a while they haven't met our expectations because maybe they've done something wrong. But I think it's really, really important to listen. And I take that into politics. Whenever someone asks me what the most important job is of any elected official, my answer always is to listen. We can't possibly be experts in all things. There are so many complex issues today. My first job is to listen, process, empathize,
Right.
and then you've got to make your executive decision based on all the information you've taken in.
Why did you enter the world of politics?
You know, Racquel, you enter this business one of 3 ways. You get inspired. My parents' generation, a great many people were inspired by John F. Kennedy. My generation, a great many people were inspired by Ronald Reagan. I think younger generation, a great many people that were inspired by Barack Obama. That's not how it happened for me. The other way you get into this business is someone else in the family is in the business.
Okay.
That wasn't the case. I got in the third way. Came home from Seton Hall with my MBA CPA. The mayor of the town of Raritan, Anthony DeSico, was a lifelong family friend of the Ciattarellis. He saw something in me and he came over the house, said, MBA CPA, we need you on the town council. Run for town council. And I thought, my goodness, the town my parents immigrated to 100 years ago, what a thrill this would be. Wow. How proud they would be. And my parents always taught us to give back. We've always believed in public service as a Cub Scout and the like. So I did, and that's how I got into the business.
You were a Cub Scout.
I was a Cub Scout.
I've got to see a picture of that.
Well, I actually made it to Weeblo, never made it to Boy Scout, and that's why when I was a state legislator, I always attended Eagle Scout ceremonies. The great respect I have, what it is you have to do. Talk about a challenging task to achieve the rank of Boy Scout, and particularly Eagle Scout. I always have great admiration for those young men, and always went to those celebrations.
I know there are several, but right now, currently, what is the biggest subject that you are passionate about in New Jersey right now?
I want to address the great struggle. Here in New Jersey, the great struggle is young people struggle to get started here. The working poor struggles to find the middle class. Middle class struggles to get ahead. Our seniors struggle to retire here. People struggle to start a business and prosper at it. It doesn't have to be that way. New Jersey has everything it needs to be a place where everyone's going to feel confident they can achieve their American dream. We're the most diverse state in the union. We saw that recently with the new census data. I see that as a great advantage. No state has the modes of transportation we have between the ports, the airports, the rails, and the cars. No state has a ready, willing, and able middle class. No state has more engineers and PhDs per capita than New Jersey has. We've got it all. I just think we need some serious changes to our policies to make New Jersey a place where everyone, and I mean everyone, can prosper. And so I'm a Republican because I believe a common sense conservative approach provides the two things that everybody wants, opportunity and security. I want people feeling confident they can achieve opportunity and security here in New Jersey.
Okay. What's right about New Jersey?
Certainly our location. Location, location, location. We have it all. We have mountains. We have lakes. We have the magnificent Jersey Shore. We've got cities. We've got the best of all four seasons. We've got one of the best K through 12 systems in the country. What we also have is the highest taxes in the nation. Under Phil Murphy, we have the third highest personal tax in the nation, the highest business tax in the nation, the highest property taxes in the nation. On top of significant gas tax increases, we've increased tolls. We borrowed $4.5 billion we didn't need to. And the tax burden that New Jerseyans face is more than the other 49 states. That was recently proven in a study done by a national CPA journal. So we need to lessen the tax burden here in New Jersey so people aren't looking to get out. What really saddens me, Racquel, a recent survey, people were asked about their feelings on New Jersey. 2/3 of New Jerseyans wanted to leave. 2/3. No one would want to be an employer where 2/3 of the employees want to leave.
Right.
No one would want to coach a team where 2/3 of the athletes want to leave. I don't want to be the governor of a state where 2/3 of its citizens want to leave. We can change that.
How would you have handled, and actually this isn't going anywhere, but we'll look at the start of the pandemic and where we are right now. How would you have handled things differently as opposed to how the current governor is handling it?
From the very beginning, we knew who the most vulnerable were to this virus. The very first deaths in America took place in Washington State in a nursing home. And yet here in New Jersey, we forced nursing homes to take in COVID-19 patients. And so I would never have done that. Take a look at a state like Florida, twice the population of New Jersey, the second largest senior citizen population in the country, 1/2 the nursing home deaths. The very reason why New Jersey leads the nation in nursing home deaths is because we forced nursing homes to take in COVID-19 patients. And then we didn't treat the nursing homes like we did hospitals. We didn't get them PPEs and we didn't get them test kits. I think there would have been more consistency in my executive orders. Racquel, if you owned a jewelry store on Main Street, you were shut down. You were considered non-essential. But the jewelry counter at Costco was allowed to stay open. If you owned a bike shop, you weren't allowed to sell a bike. But guess what Walmart was selling? Bikes. I do think we shut down too much for too long. And I would have advocated fervently to get our children back in school starting last September. There were some K through 12 public school systems that were open starting last September with very, very low incidence of transmission because of the precautions they took. We had private and parochial schools that were open all through the school year with very low incident of transmission of the virus. We need to get our children back in school, particularly our K through 5 and special needs students. And let's not forget too, when children weren't allowed to go back to school, that had a disproportionate and discriminatory effect on women. Because more times than not, who had to stay home?
Right.
Mom.
Right.
Mom. So those are the three big things I think that would have differentiated my handling of the pandemic versus Phil Murphy.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit more about the pandemic. The kids will be in school this September, masked, of course. Where are you on the mask? Non-mask, mask, mandate, no mandate?
Yeah, I'm not for vaccine mandates. I think it's a personal choice. I'm vaccinated, and I'd advocate and encourage people to get vaccinated. But at the same time, I've never felt that government has a right to tell anyone they have to ingest a medicine. So I'm not for a vaccine mandate. I'm not for vaccine passports. I do believe our children need to be in school this September. That's the good news. The bad news is Phil Murphy's put in a mask mandate. I think that should be a family choice. There's been some pretty compelling research that it inhibits learning and can adversely affect the emotional and intellectual development of children. So no two children are the same. I've got 4, I know.
Right.
Sounds like you have more than one.
Yes.
So you know.
Yes.
No two are the same. If they are, everything would be a lot easier. But I don't see a mask mandate as being in the best interest of our children. I think that should be a family decision.
Okay. While we're on this subject, are you for virtual choice for parents?
Listen, if people feel strongly, I think in today's technological age, it's very easy to set up a remote learning possibility. So if parents feel strongly, just like parents feel strongly about homeschooling, even pre-pandemic, if you feel strongly about homeschooling during this era that we're going through right now, I think schools should be forced to offer that. And after last year, believe it or not believe it or not, but after last year, all that technology is already in place.
Right.
We did it last year. It's available for those that want it.
So that's something that's achievable in New Jersey.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right.
I think what we're going through right now, Raquel, it's about options, options, options. I do believe with the Delta variant and more employers making vaccination a condition of employment, you're going to see more people get vaccinated. I think we're seeing that already.
Yeah, I think so too. Well, this is certainly a stressful time, and I have asked a couple of candidates this question. What's the best way to de-stress? How does Jack Citarelli de-stress at the end of a long, stressful week, day, what have you?
There is nothing like time with family. And many times I'm getting home close to midnight and they're already in bed. And so there's another member of our family who provides great therapy, and that's our 45-pound bulldog, Jordy. Half English, half French. No matter what time you come home, he's happy to see you, his tail's wagging. Listen, time with family, time with family. The campaign is hard. I'm not asking for sympathy. I asked for this. And I enjoy the challenge. I enjoy the grind. It's not easy on family. So when we do have time together, as we did this past Sunday for Anthony Joseph, AJ's 23rd birthday, it was great to be with family. We made it a point to carve out 2 or 3 hours from the campaign to be at the Jersey Shore house. And we were on the beach together. We were in the ocean together. We sat down to dinner together, blew out the candles together. Nice. It felt really good to do that. So family, family, family.
Okay. So what's your favorite thing about the Garden State?
I do love the Four Seasons. I love the Four Seasons, always have. And I don't think there's a state in the union that offers the Four Seasons better than New Jersey. Certainly second, I love the Jersey Shore. I love it. That's a rite of passage here in New Jersey come summertime. And to me, there's nothing like sitting on the beach with family and then being in the ocean. And at the end of the day, we all come up and shower and turn on the barbecue. I mean, that day never gets old.
Okay. Well, part of being on the campaign trail is letting people know all about you. So what is the one thing that people don't know about you that you would like? What should voters know about Jack Citarelli?
I think they already know that I'm a big Yankee fan. What they probably don't know is that I was a pretty avid gardener before I got on the campaign trail. There's been no time, but I've had in the past huge tomato, cucumber gardens, and I miss that. Talk about therapy. There's nothing like getting out, putting your hands in the soil, growing tomatoes, and we all know the Jersey tomato.
Yes.
There's something about our soil, there's something about our humidity that produces a tomato that provides taste like no other state. So that's probably one thing people don't know. I was a community gardener at Duke Gardens.
Oh, wow.
I had a huge garden in Raritan. And then until we moved to Hillsborough, then I became a community gardener at Duke Gardens. And I miss it very, very much. So if we're fortunate enough to win this race, and I believe we will, we'll have a tomato garden at Drumthwacket. How's that, Racquel?
Oh, that sounds good. I like the way that sounds. All right, so I've got some extra credit questions for you.
Excellent.
This is the lightning round. Pork roll or tail or ham?
Oh, it's pork roll. Come on. It's pork roll.
Okay. All right, I'll let you say pork roll.
The producer just hung up on me.
All right, so Giants or Jets?
Packers.
Okay.
You know, my father was my idol, and he was very, very proud of his Italian heritage. He was a Yankee fan because of Joe DiMaggio. He was a Giant fan when Vince Lombardi was the offensive coordinator for the New York Giants. But when Vince Lombardi went to the Packers, my dad went with him, and I always followed my dad.
Okay.
I think the one sport in New Jersey where people will cut you some slack if you're not a local football fan is you can root for any team here in New Jersey.
Gotcha.
Not so much when it comes to baseball. South Jersey, you better be Phillies, and North Jersey, you better be Mets or Yankees.
Okay, and you are, of course,
a Yankees fan.
Yankees fan. All right. All right.
My opponent is a Red Sox fan. In fact, there's a doubleheader today, the day of our recording, between the Yankees and Red Sox. So.
Okay. All right. And one more question. This is very important to me. Jimmy's
it's macaroni, not pasta, Racquel. It's macaroni, not pasta. In the Citarelli house, we call it gravy. It's not
gravy.
Sauce.
It's not sauce.
Racquel.
I love it.
I want to beat you to it, Racquel.
And Jimmy's are sprinkles.
Jimmy's are sprinkles. Sprinkles, Racquel. Come on.
You know how I feel. Everybody knows how I feel about Jimmy's and sprinkles. It is definitely sprinkles.
Come on, sprinkles.
All right, this has been great. We have been visiting with the Republican nominee for governor, Jack Citarelli. Jack, thank you so much for joining us today.
Are you kidding me? Thank you, Racquel. I look forward to next time.
Good luck in November.
Thank you.